Have you ever felt that your animal comes close but never fully settles with you or pulls away right when you open emotionally? And that's not because they're distant, and it's not because they don't love you, but because something in your emotional field feels guarded. If you deeply love your animal, but sometimes you sense a subtle distance you can't quite explain, stay with me. This may be about the heart center, and it's not about behavior. Animals don't just respond to our mood only, they respond to how emotionally reachable we are. And very often, they sense the state of our heart long before we consciously recognize it. And today, I want to talk about the heart chakra healing and what it actually changes, especially in the relationship between you and your animal companion. The heart chakra sits in the center of the chest and acts like a bridge. It connects the lower centers, safety, survival, grounding, with the upper centers, expression, meaning, perspective. It's the meeting point between protection and connection. And when this center is regulated, love feels steady, not dramatic, not overwhelming, just quietly available. And then there's warmth, flexibility, and enough inner space to stay present when something is uncomfortable. And you can care without collapsing, and you can stay connected without losing yourself. But when the heart has been hurt, and whose heart hasn't, through loss, betrayal, emotional neglect, or shock, it learns to guard itself, of course, not as a weakness. It's an intelligent adaptation, it's an intelligent protection. Closing the heart is a survival response. And most people don't experience this very dramatically as I'm closed. It shows up more subtly as strong independence, as emotional self-sufficiency, or reluctance to need anyone. And it can sound like, oh, I'm better off alone. I don't want to be disappointed again, something like this. And from the inside, it feels like strength. It might actually feel like strength for you, but in the body, there is often tension around the chest and a kind of emotional bracing. And animals are extremely sensitive to that difference. They don't measure how loving your intentions are, they respond to how emotionally reachable you feel to them. Before we go further, let's make this practical for a moment. If it feels okay, place one hand lightly on the center of your chest. You can close your eyes or keep it open, it doesn't matter. And notice your breathing. Connect with your breathing and don't change it yet, just notice it. And then let your next exhale be a little slower than your inhale. Relax your forehead. Soften your jaw. Unclench your tongue. Drop your shoulders. And let the front of your chest just drop just a tiny bit, nothing dramatic. Just a small permission to not brace. And if your companion is nearby, they may already be responding to that shift. Animals track these micro changes very precisely. I see this pattern often in sessions. A guardian tells me their animal is affectionate, but only briefly and only on their own terms. And my dog was a little bit like this. They come close, but they don't fully relax into contact, or they leave when emotion rises. And when we explore, we often find unprocessed grief or old heartbreak still living in the chest, sometimes from years ago, and sometimes from even very early in life. And it's not always big, visible, dramatic trauma. It's often quiet grief, love that wasn't returned, a goodbye that came too fast, or a goodbye that led to shock. And in childhood environment where emotional openness didn't feel safe. And the hearts, they learn to dial itself down. And animals respond very precisely to emotional availability. And availability is different from emotional intensity. Someone can be very expressive and still defended. Availability is softer. It's the sense that contact is welcome and safe. I worked with a client once, but I could actually also talk about myself. But let's take Daniel as an example. Daniel has a rescue dog that stayed near him constantly, actually, but avoided resting against his chest or his leg or in his lap. And Daniel really longed for that kind of connection with his dog. She was always beside him, though, but never fully leaning in. And as we worked together, Daniel realized he had never truly processed a major loss from earlier in his life. He actually lost his sister when he was young. He had stayed functional and strong. He grew up to like be this boy and be strong and don't cry around, right? So he became the man that had to hold all the emotion and become emotionally sealed. And as those layers released, something changed. One week, like I think after the fourth session, he wrote to me and said for the first time she fell asleep with her head on his chest. And well, that was such a beautiful moment, right? It's big changes, and that they're not coming from training and not techniques. They come from emotional accessibility that changed. Animals don't primarily respond to what we do. They respond to what they feel in us. And the heart chakra healing is not about becoming more emotional or expressive. It's about becoming more available to what is already there. And that includes tenderness, care, vulnerability, and also boundaries. Because an open heart is not an unprotected heart. A healthy heart center can say yes and no. It can welcome and it can limit. Many people close their heart because they were never shown that love and boundaries, they exist together. So they choose distance instead of discernment. And animals often help reteach that balance. And I know my dog helped me. I had to learn about closeness without self abandonment and connection without collapse. And by collapse, I mean losing yourself. She's been such a great teacher. And if your animal sometimes pulls away when you reach toward them emotionally, try become curious instead of self-critical. Notice what happens inside your chest in the moment you reach. Do you tense slightly? Hold your breath or lean forward internally, or maybe even like with your body language, with hope or with fear? Do you expect rejection before contact even happens? Because your animal might be responding to that micro signal. Heart healing is paced safety in connection. Heart healing is paced safety in connection. Small amounts of warmth, letting appreciation land instead of deflecting it. Placing a hand on your chest and breathing without trying to fix anything. Allowing your animal to stay close. And you don't have to perform calmness. Often, guardians notice the shift first in their companion, and it can be like longer contact, it can be softer eye connection, it can be deeper rest, shared rest, like during the night or even during the day. And this then will not have to do anything with your animal having changed, but because connection, it's a relational space. It's all about relationship. It's because the connection becomes safer to enter. If this resonates with you, you're not behind and you're not bad at love. it's your system adapted, and adaptation can soften. It can soften when safety returns. If you'd like support exploring what your animal may be mirroring emotionally, what they're showing you, you can start with my free guide. It's called the Emotional Mirror Checklist. It's a little booklet. I hope you would enjoy that. And if you're curious, you'll find the link below the video. And your companion isn't asking for a perfect heart, only a real one and a reachable one. Thank you for being here. And if your animal is nearby, give them an extra hug from me.